Hey everyone, welcome back to Ethical Eyes on Board. Let's talk about a topic that's transforming the very foundation of how companies are run. Yeah, it's corporate governance. Now, I know governance might sound like just a set of rigid rules, but let me tell you, it's evolving fast. The forces at play, from technology to societal expectations, are reshaping how boards operate. So, let's unpack these trends and see how they are making governance more complex but also exciting. Alright, let's start with one of the biggest shifts happening right now. It's the stakeholder-centric governance. For the longest time, corporate governance was all about maximizing shareholder value, right? But things are changing. Now, boards are starting to realize that focusing on all stakeholders, not just shareholders, is the key to long-term success. When I say stakeholders, I'm talking about everyone who has a stake in the company, like the employees, customers, and the community. Companies are waking up to the fact that to be truly successful, they've got to balance all these interests. This shift is part of a bigger movement towards integrating environmental, social, and governance factors. This is what we call the ESG into the board's responsibilities. Companies that are leading the charge here aren't just ticking boxes for regulations. They are positioning themselves as socially responsible, which is becoming a huge part of their identity and, honestly, their competitive edge. Now, let's talk about tech. We all know how fast technology is changing everything, and corporate governance is no exception. Boards are now dealing with the double-edged sword of digital transformation. On one hand, technology is making board operations more efficient, like think about the virtual meetings, secure communication platforms, and data analytics. On the contrary, it's introducing new risks like cybersecurity threats and data privacy concerns. Boards have to strike a balance here, leveraging digital tools to improve governance while making sure they are fully aware of the risks that come with this new territory. Cybersecurity has become a top priority now, and honestly, it's about time, because the consequences of not getting it right can be catastrophic. Now, let's switch gears to diversity and inclusion, which is another area that's really gaining momentum. We've been hearing the call for gender diversity for years now, but it's so much more than that. Boards are starting to focus on diversity in all forms, like ethnicity, age, and professional background. Why? Because when you've got a range of perspectives in the room, you're better equipped to handle the complexities of today's global business world. But here's the thing, diversity alone isn't enough. Inclusion is just as important. It's one thing to have a diverse board. It's another to make sure every voice is heard and valued. That's where the real power of diversity comes in, and companies are starting to implement initiatives to make sure inclusivity is part of their culture. Now, let's talk about another force that's shaking up the boardroom, called activist investors. These are the folks who are pushing for changes in underperforming companies. They are not afraid to challenge the status quo, and they're putting pressure on boards to make some big moves. What this means for boards is that they've got to be proactive. They need to engage with shareholders before things escalate. Effective communication and transparency are key here. The more responsive a board is to shareholder concerns, the better position they are to avoid becoming targets of activism. Okay, now let's shift our focus to sustainability. As I've been saying in the past, it's no longer just a buzzword. Sustainable and long-term value creation is becoming a guiding principle for corporate governance. Boards are realizing that you can't just chase short-term profits anymore. You've got to think about the bigger picture, like how your businesses impact the environment, society, and its own long-term viability. Boards are now integrating sustainability metrics into their performance evaluations and strategic planning. And companies that really get this right, they're like not just complying with the regulations, they are building stronger reputations and becoming more resilient in a constantly changing market. Finally, let's talk about crisis preparedness. We are living in a world where unexpected challenges can hit from any direction, like geopolitical tensions, public health crisis, you name it and got it. Boards are recognizing that crisis management isn't just an afterthought anymore. It's a critical part of corporate governance. Boards are investing in things like scenario planning, stress testing, and crisis response training. They want to make sure that when the next big thing of disruption happens, they're ready to adapt quickly and keep the company on course. The COVID-19 pandemic was a wake-up call for many, showing just how important it is for boards to be agile and responsive. So there you have it, the trends that are reshaping corporate governance, from stakeholder-centric governance to digital transformation, diversity and inclusion, activism, sustainability, and crisis resilience. Boards are navigating through these uncharted waters. But here's the thing, these trends aren't happening in isolation. They're all interconnected and they're making governance more dynamic than ever before. And as we move forward, boards that embrace these changes will be the ones that succeed. It's about staying ahead of the curve, being adaptable, and always keeping an eye on the bigger picture. If you found this deep dive helpful, hit the like button, share it with others, and subscribe for more insights on corporate governance and beyond. Thank you for watching and see you next time.